Elijah Blackwood walked into the Crystal Room restaurant like he owned the place. In a way, he almost did. His technology company was worth billions, and his investment portfolio included shares in nearly every major business in Seattle. The hostess recognized him immediately and hurried to escort him to his favorite table by the window, overlooking the city lights. "Your usual server will be with you shortly, Mr. Blackwood," she said with a practiced smile. Elijah barely nodded as he checked his expensive watch. He had just closed another successful deal and felt like celebrating, even if it was alone. Misu, 42. He had more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes, but fewer real friends than he could count on one hand. Olivia Martinez approached the table with caution. She had been serving Elijah Blackwood for almost 6 months now, and he was known among the staff for being demanding and unpredictable with his moods. Tonight he seemed relaxed, which was a good sign. Still, she needed this job too much to risk any mistakes. "Good evening, Mr. Blackwood. Would you like to start with your usual drink?" she asked. Elijah looked up at her. Olivia was different from the other servers, quieter, more thoughtful. She never tried to impress him with fake enthusiasm or excessive conversation. She just did her job well. Tonight, he noticed something he hadn't before. Her hands. Long fingers, elegant movements, the way she unconsciously tapped a rhythm against her notepad while waiting for his response. "Yes, the usual." "McAllen 25, neat," he said, still watching her hands. As Olivia walked away, Elijah found himself distracted, from his phone for once. He watched her move between tables, noticing how she seemed to flow to some internal rhythm. When she delivered drinks to another table, her fingers drummed a brief pattern on the tray before setting them down. By his third drink, Elijah's curiosity had become an obsession. Something about Olivia's movements reminded him of something. Or someone. His piano teacher from childhood, perhaps. The only person who had shown genuine kindness to him before his money made everyone kind, at least to his face. When Olivia brought his main course, he decided to satisfy his curiosity. "You play an instrument, don't you?" he asked abruptly. Olivia froze for a second, then resumed setting down his plate. "I did once. Not anymore." "Piano," Elijah guessed, watching her face for confirmation. The slight widening of her eyes told him he was right. "I haven't played in years," she said, clearly wanting to end the conversation. "Why not?" Elijah pressed, unaccustomed to people not wanting to share their life stories with him. Everyone usually tried to make themselves interesting to him, hoping for some benefit from his wealth or connections. "I prefer not to discuss my personal life at work, Mr. Blackwood. Can I get you anything else with your steak?" Her polite refusal only intensified his interest. As the evening progressed and his drink count increased, Elijah became fixated on the idea of hearing Olivia play. The restaurant had a beautiful grand piano in the lounge area that was used only on weekend evenings by hired musicians. After his fifth drink, Elijah waved the manager over to his table. "Paul, that piano in the lounge, is it just for show, right? Now, or does it actually work?" he asked, his words slightly slurred. Paul Reynolds, the restaurant manager, smiled nervously. "It's in perfect condition, Mr. Blackwood. Our weekend pianist tuned it just yesterday." "Excellent," Elijah said, standing up suddenly. "I want to hear that waitress play it. Olivia." Paul's smile became strained. "Sir, Ms. Martinez is working. We have several servers, but she's covering 3 large tables right now." Elijah pulled out his wallet and placed several $100 bills on the table. "This should cover any inconvenience to your other guests." Olivia was serving dessert to a family of 4 when she heard her name being called. She turned to see Paul gesturing urgently from across the dining room. With a polite smile to her customers, she promised to return and walked over to her manager. "Olivia," Paul whispered, "Mr. Blackwood is requesting that you play the piano in the lounge." She felt the blood drain from her face. "What? No, I'm working and I don't play anymore." "You know that." Paul looked miserable. "He's insisting. You know how much business he brings in. His company holds all their corporate events here." "I haven't touched a piano in almost 5 years," Olivia protested. Before Paul could respond, Elijah appeared beside them, swaying slightly. "There you are. Come on, show us what those hands can do," he said, loud enough for nearby diners to hear. Olivia felt her chest tighten with growing anxiety. "Mr. Blackwood, I appreciate your interest, but I'm working, and the piano isn't part of my job." "I'll make it worth your while," Elijah said, reaching for his wallet again. Something snapped inside Olivia. "I am not for sale," she said quietly but firmly. "And my music isn't either." The restaurant had grown quiet, with many diners now watching the scene unfold. Elijah Blackwood wasn't used to being refused anything, especially not by someone who served him dinner. "Do you know who I am?" he asked, his voice dangerous and soft. Olivia stood her ground. "Yes. You're someone who thinks money can buy everything. It can't buy my performance." Paul stepped between them, panic clear on his face. "Perhaps another time when Ms. Martinez isn't on duty, Mr. Blackwood. Let me offer you a complimentary dessert and coffee." Elijah stared at Olivia for a long moment. Something in her steady gaze seemed to penetrate his alcohol-induced confidence. Without another word, he turned and walked back to his table. The next day, Olivia arrived at work expecting to be fired. Instead, Paul called her into his office, where a large arrangement of white lilies sat on his desk. "These came for you, along with this," he said, handing her an envelope. Inside was a handwritten note on expensive stationery. "Ms. Martinez, I behaved inexcusably last night. No apology is adequate, but I offer one nonetheless. If you're willing to speak with me, I have a proposition that might interest you. One that respects your boundaries." Elijah Blackwood below was a phone number with the words, "Entirely at your discretion" underneath. Olivia stared at the note, then at the flowers. She had almost lost her job because of this man's whim. The job she needed to help support her younger brother Jake through college. The job that had kept her afloat after she walked away from Juilliard and everything she had worked for since childhood. She started to crumple the note, then stopped. Rumors about Blackwood's charitable foundation had been in the news lately. $1 million gift to the Children's Hospital. Funding for arts education in public schools. With a sigh, she tucked the note into her pocket. She would think about it. But first she had tables to serve and bills to pay. Realities that billionaires like Elijah Blackwood would never understand. Olivia paced back and forth in her small apartment, staring at the business card in her hand. 3 days had passed since the incident with Elijah Blackwood at the restaurant. She had kept the card but hadn't called the number. Pride told her to throw it away, but curiosity kept her holding on to it. Her phone rang, startling her. It was her brother Jake. "Hey sis, just checking in. You okay? You sounded upset yesterday." Olivia sighed. "I'm fine, just work stuff. How are classes going?" "Good, but that's not why I called. I got a weird email from the college financial office. They said someone made a payment on my tuition account. Did you get a raise or something?" Olivia froze. "I didn't pay anything. How much was it?" "That's the crazy part. Someone paid off my entire semester. All of it." She looked down at the business card. Elijah Blackwood. It had to be him. "Jake, I need to call you back." Olivia dialed the number before she could change her mind. It rang only once. "Ms. Martinez, I was hoping you would call." Elijah's voice sounded clearer, more professional than at the restaurant. "Did you pay my brother's tuition?" she asked, skipping any greeting. "I might have made a small contribution to a promising student." "Why?" There was a pause. "Let's call it the beginning of an apology. I behaved badly the other night." Olivia sat down at her kitchen table. "Mr. Blackwood, I can't accept that kind of money. It's too much." "Then earn it," he said simply. "Here, my proposition. If you're not interested, I'll find another way to make things right between us, but I think you'll want to listen." Curiosity won. "I'm listening. I'm hosting a charity gala next month. Very exclusive. The proceeds will fund music education in schools across the state. I want you to play the piano there." Olivia laughed without humor. "You don't give up, do you? I told you I don't play anymore." "But you could," Elijah pressed. "You have the hands, the training. I looked you up, Olivia. 5 years ago, you were at Juilliard on a full scholarship. Then you just disappeared from the music world. The mention of Juilliard made her stomach tighten. You had no right to investigate me. Perhaps not, but I'm offering you a chance to make a difference. One performance, $1 million to the charity of your choice. Olivia nearly dropped the phone. 1 million? Plus another full scholarship. For your brother, through graduate school if he wants it. All for one performance. Why me? You could hire any professional pianist in the country. Elijah's voice grew softer. Because when you refused me that night, when money didn't matter, to you I saw something rare. Authenticity, that's what I want at my gala. Olivia stood up and walked to her window, looking out at the rainy Seattle evening. There's something you're not telling me. You're perceptive. Yes, there's more to it. This gala is important. Very important. Some of the attendees are potential investors in a project that could change everything. They value artistic expression highly. They need to see something real, not just technical skill. I need to think about it, Olivia said. Of course. But don't take too long. The gala is in 4 weeks. After hanging up, Olivia reached under her bed and pulled out a dusty photo album. Inside were newspaper clippings, concert programs, and pictures of a younger Olivia at the piano. She closed it quickly, unwilling to revisit those memories. The next day, Olivia agreed to meet Elijah at a private music studio downtown. She was surprised to find him alone, sitting in a chair next to a beautiful grand piano. No assistance? She asked, setting down her bag. I wanted to speak privately, Elijah said, standing to greet her. Sober and in daylight, he looked different, tired, intense. Have you considered my offer? I have questions first, Olivia said. Who are these investors? Why is this gala so important to you? Elijah gestured to the piano bench. Please sit. When she did, he continued. What I'm about to tell you will sound unbelievable, but I need your word that it stays between us. Okay, Olivia said cautiously. 6 months ago, I was approached by representatives from a group called the Arcturus Coalition, a foreign investment group, Olivia guessed. Elijah smiled slightly. Very foreign. They're not from Earth, Olivia. She started to stand. Is this a joke? I wish it were. They've been observing Earth for decades. Now they're making contact with selected individuals to assess whether humans are ready for open interaction. And they picked you because you're rich? Olivia couldn't keep the skepticism from her voice. They picked me because I have resources and influence without direct government ties. There are others like me around the world. Each of us has been asked to demonstrate different aspects of human achievement. Olivia shook her head. This is crazy. I thought so too until they showed me technology that's centuries beyond anything we have. Olivia, they're real, and they're coming to my gala, disguised as human dignitaries. What does this have to do with me playing piano? She asked, still not sure whether to believe him. The Arcturians believe that artistic expression is the highest form of intelligence. More than our science or technology, they want to see our creativity. They've studied our recorded music, our digital art. But they want to experience live human creativity, something genuine. Olivia ran her fingers lightly over the piano keys without pressing them. And if they don't like what they see? Elijah's face grew serious. Then Earth gets classified as a resource planet rather than a potential partner. They'll take what they want from our world and give nothing in return. That's a lot of pressure to put on one piano performance, Olivia said. It's not just you. There will be other artists too. But you're special, Olivia. I sensed it the first time I saw you. There's something in how you move, how your hands express what you're feeling even when you're just serving food. The Arcturians will respond to that authenticity. Olivia pressed one key, letting a single note hang in the air between them. I haven't played in 5 years. Not since what happened at Juilliard? Elijah asked gently. She nodded. I can't talk about that. You don't have to. But will you at least try? For your brother? For the charity money for humanity's future? He said the last part with a self-deprecating smile that made him seem suddenly human. Olivia placed both hands on the keys and played a simple chord. The sound filled the room, stirring something inside her she had tried to forget. "I'll need time to practice," she said quietly. "And I choose the music, no one tells me what to play." Elijah nodded. "Of course, this studio is yours for as long as you need it. I'll have a key made for you today." As he turned to leave, Olivia called after him. "Mr. Blackwood?" He stopped. "Please call me Elijah." Elijah. If this is some elaborate game, some rich man's idea of entertainment, it's not, he said seriously. I wish it were that simple. After he left, Olivia sat alone at the piano. Slowly, hesitantly, she began to play a simple melody she had learned as a child. Her fingers were stiff, unpracticed, but the music came back to her like an old friend. The piano studio became Olivia's second home over the next 2 weeks. She arrived every day after her shift at the restaurant, sometimes staying until the early hours of the morning. The manager had been surprisingly understanding about adjusting her schedule, probably because Elijah Blackwood had spoken to him. At first, her fingers felt clumsy on the keys. She started with simple exercises, scales, and arpeggios that her first teacher had drilled into her as a child. Gradually, the muscle memory returned. By the end of the first week, she could play some of her old repertoire pieces, though not as smoothly as before. Olivia didn't notice Elijah standing in the doorway until she finished a Chopin nocturne. "That was beautiful," he said, causing her to jump. "How long have you been there?" she asked, closing the piano lid. "Just a few minutes." Elijah walked into the room carrying 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to her. "How is it going?" Olivia accepted the coffee, surprised by the gesture. "Better than I expected. Worse than I'd like." "You're too hard on yourself." It sounded perfect. "To me." She shook her head. "That's because you're not a pianist. I can hear every mistake, every hesitation." Elijah sat in a chair near the piano. "Tell me why you stopped playing." Olivia stiffened. "That wasn't part of our deal." "No, it wasn't. But if you're going to play for me for the gala, I'd like to understand." She was quiet for a long time, sipping her coffee. Finally, she said, "Music was my whole life. My mother was a piano teacher before she died. She started teaching me when I was 4. You must have been very good to get into Juilliard." "I was. Top of my class in high school, scholarships to summer programs, competition wins." Olivia's voice was flat, as if reciting someone else's achievements. "So what happened?" Olivia placed her coffee cup on top of the piano. "Competition happened. Backstabbing happened. At Juilliard, everyone is the best from their hometown. Everyone is special, and some people will do anything to stay on top." "Someone sabotaged you," Elijah guessed. "My roommate," Olivia nodded. "We were both up for the same scholarship, the same performance opportunity with a famous conductor. The night before my audition, Olivia looked down at her hands. "She slammed my hand in a door, broke 2 fingers." Elijah winced. "That's horrible." The worst part wasn't the physical pain. It was realizing what music had become for me, for all of us there. Not joy or expression, but a weapon. A way to hurt each other. I got my fingers treated, took a leave of absence, and never went back. "And your roommate?" "Last I heard, she was playing with the Boston Symphony Orchestra." Olivia shrugged. "Life isn't fair." "No, it isn't," Elijah agreed. He seemed about to say more, but instead checked his watch. "I should go, I have meetings. But Olivia, thank you for telling me." After he left, Olivia opened the piano again. She played a different piece this time, something more emotional, letting herself feel the music in a way she hadn't in years. The next day, Elijah returned with a small box. "What's this?" Olivia asked when he handed it to her. "Open it." Inside was a small device about the size of a phone but thinner, with a smooth metallic surface. "What is it?" she asked, turning it over in her hands. "Arcturian technology. They call it a memory enhancer." It helps retrieve and strengthen neural pathways like muscle memory for piano playing. Olivia put it back in the box quickly. I'm not using alien technology on my brain. It's perfectly safe. I've used it myself, Elijah assured her. For what? To learn Mandarin in 3 days? Olivia laughed, then realized he was serious. You really believe all this, don't you? The aliens, their evaluation of Earth, all of it. I don't just believe it, I know it. Elijah took the device back. But I understand your hesitation. The offer stands if you change your mind. As the days passed, Olivia and Elijah fell into a routine. She would practice and he would sometimes come listen, bringing coffee or lunch. They talked about music, about his business, about her brother's studies. Never about aliens or the true purpose of the gala. It was as if they both needed a break from the weight of what was supposedly at stake. One evening, after a particularly good practice session, Elijah asked, "Have you chosen what you'll play for the gala?" "I'm thinking about it," Olivia said. "Something classical to start, then maybe an improvisation." "Improvisation? Is that wise with so much riding on this?" Olivia smiled. "Scared I'll embarrass you in front of your alien friends?" "Not at all. Just surprised. True creativity isn't about playing the notes on a page perfectly. It's about making something new in the moment." Olivia ran her hands over the keys without pressing them. If these Arcturians really value creativity, they should appreciate improvisation more than a rehearsed performance. Elijah watched her thoughtfully. "You're starting to believe me about them, aren't you?" "Let's say I'm keeping an open mind. Either way, I made a deal to play at your gala, and I'll give the best performance I can." 2 days later, Olivia arrived at the studio to find a woman waiting outside. "Olivia Martinez?" the woman asked. She was elegant, in her 60s, with silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. "Yes?" "I'm Claire Bennett. Elijah Blackwood asked me to help with your preparation for the gala." Olivia recognized the name immediately. "Professor Bennett? From the conservatory?" Claire smiled. "The same. Elijah said you might benefit from some coaching in these final weeks." Olivia was speechless. Claire Bennett was a legend in the classical piano world, known for both her performances and her teaching. "I don't understand," Olivia finally said. "Why would you agree to help me? I'm just a waitress playing at a charity event." Claire studied her for a moment. "Elijah showed me a video of you practicing. He's been recording you." "He what?" Olivia felt anger rising. "Before you get upset, you should know why." Claire pulled out her phone and played a video. It showed Olivia at the piano, lost in the music, unaware of being filmed. "What am I supposed to see?" Olivia asked. "Talent. Raw, honest talent. The kind I rarely see anymore, even at the conservatory." Claire put her phone away. "Elijah said there's much more at stake with your performance than I can know. He asked for my help, and after seeing that video, I couldn't refuse." Olivia unlocked the studio door, her mind racing. "I haven't had a teacher in 5 years." "Then, we have work to do," Claire said simply, following her inside. For the next week, Olivia worked harder than she ever had. Claire was demanding but kind, pushing Olivia to find depths in the music she hadn't known were there. Elijah came less often, giving them space to work. Each night, Olivia fell into bed exhausted but fulfilled. The joy of music was returning, separate from the pressure of the gala and its supposed cosmic importance. She was playing for herself again. 3 days before the gala, Olivia arrived at the studio to find it locked. Strange, since Elijah had given her the only key. She tried calling him but got no answer. After waiting 30 minutes, she decided to go to his office downtown. The Blackwood Technologies building was a gleaming tower of glass and steel. Olivia felt out of place in her jeans and sweater as she approached the reception desk. "I need to see Elijah Blackwood," she told the receptionist, a polished young man in a suit. "Do you have an appointment?" he asked, not bothering to look up from his computer. "No, but he'll want to see me. I'm Olivia Martinez." The receptionist looked skeptical but made a call. To Olivia's surprise, she was escorted to an elevator that went directly to the top floor. Elijah's assistant, A serious woman named Gwen met her. "Ms. Martinez, Mr. Blackwood is in a meeting. He asked me to show you to his private office to wait." Olivia followed Gwen down a hallway lined with modern art to a large corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows. The view of Seattle was breathtaking. "Can I get you anything?" Gwen asked. "No, thank you. Do you know how long he'll be?" "The meeting is running longer than expected. It could be an hour or more." Gwen hesitated. "He said you might want to practice. There's a keyboard in the side room." She pointed to a door, then left, closing the main office door behind her. Curious, Olivia opened the side door to find a small room with a professional keyboard setup and headphones. She smiled at Elijah's thoughtfulness. While she preferred the real piano at the studio, this would do for now. As she turned to go back for her bag, something on Elijah's desk caught her eye. A device similar to the one he had offered her, but slightly larger. Next to it was a small metallic cube that seemed to glow with an inner light. Olivia knew she shouldn't snoop, but she moved closer. As she did, the cube lit up brighter and projected what looked like a hologram above it. Startled, she stepped back, but the projection remained. It showed strange symbols and what appeared to be a 3D map of the solar system. As she watched, the image changed to show Earth, then zoomed in on North America, then Seattle, then the exact building she was in. "What the?" Olivia whispered. The image changed again, showing what looked like a document with more strange symbols, but some words were in English. She leaned closer to read them. Classification protocol, resource assessment, artistic evaluation, final decision. Then she saw it. A sentence that made her blood run cold. "If human creativity fails to meet coalition standards, Earth will be designated for resource extraction rather than partnership. Preparation of mineral extraction sites should begin within 30 days of evaluation." Olivia backed away from the desk. This wasn't just about forming an alliance with aliens. It was about whether they would treat Earth as a partner or a mine to be stripped. The office door opened and Elijah walked in, his face changing from welcome to alarm when he saw the active cube. "You shouldn't be looking at that," he said quickly, moving to deactivate it. "Is it true?" Olivia demanded. "Are they planning to strip mine the Earth if they don't like our art?" Elijah didn't answer immediately, which told her everything. "You lied to me," she said. "You said this was about forming a partnership." "I said that was one potential outcome," Elijah replied carefully. "I didn't want to scare you with the alternative." "The alternative being they destroy our planet? That seems like important information, Elijah." He ran a hand through his hair, looking tired. "They wouldn't destroy it. They would take what they need, primarily rare minerals from deep in the Earth's crust. They have technology that can extract it without directly harming human populations." "And you think that makes it okay?" Olivia was shaking with anger. "You're willing to let aliens decide Earth's fate based on a piano performance?" "Not just yours," Elijah said. "There are similar evaluations happening all over the world. Music, visual art, dance, literature. They want to see all forms of human creativity. But yes, your performance is one piece of that evaluation." Olivia grabbed her bag. "I'm out. Find someone else to play at your gala." Elijah moved to block the doors. "Please, Olivia, you don't understand what's at stake." "I understand perfectly. You've been manipulating me from the start. The flowers, the apology, the studio, Professor Bennett, all to make me your puppet in this alien talent show." "That's not true," Elijah protested. "I chose you because I believe in your talent, because when you play it's real. That's what they need to see." Olivia pushed past him. "I'm done being anyone's puppet. At Juilliard it was all about impressing the right people, playing the right way to get ahead. I left because music stopped being about expression and became about pleasing others. I won't make that mistake again." She made it to the elevator before Elijah caught up with her. "Olivia, wait. Please. I'm sorry I didn't tell you everything, but this is bigger than both of us." The elevator doors opened. Olivia stepped inside. "Goodbye, Elijah. I'll have your key sent to your office." For 2 days, Olivia ignored Elijah's calls and messages. She went to work at the restaurant, served customers, and tried to forget about aliens and billionaires and pianos. But she couldn't stop thinking about the maps she'd seen, the plans for resource extraction. Her brother Jake called on the second day. "Sis, what's going on?" "My financial aid office called. They said the scholarship might be withdrawn due to a change in donor circumstances." "Is this about that rich guy who paid my tuition?" Olivia closed her eyes. Of course Elijah would use that leverage. "Don't worry, Jake, I'll figure it out." After hanging up, she sat at her kitchen table for a long time. Then she called Professor Bennett. "I was wondering when I'd hear from you," Claire said when she answered. "Elijah told me what happened." "Did he tell you about the aliens? About what they really plan to do if they don't like our art?" "He did," Claire said calmly, "after you left his office." Olivia was surprised. "And you believe him?" "I've seen enough evidence to know he's not lying or crazy." "But Olivia, that's not why I called you back." "What do you mean?" "I told him I wouldn't help pressure you. Your decision to play or not must be yours alone. But I want you to understand something important." Olivia waited. "When you play piano, you're not performing for anyone. Not for judges, not for aliens, not even for the audience. You're having a conversation with the music itself. That's what made your playing special, even in those brief sessions we had. A conversation with the music." Olivia repeated softly. "Yes, and conversations can change minds, open hearts. Even alien ones, perhaps." Claire paused. "Whatever you decide, I respect your choice. But don't let fear of being judged stop you from speaking through your music. That would be the real tragedy." After they hung up, Olivia sat in silence. Then she went to the closet and pulled out the sheet music she'd been working on. She spread it on the table and began making notes, working late into the night. The next morning, the day before the gala, she called Elijah. "I'll play tomorrow," she said when he answered. "Not for you, not for aliens, for the music itself." The relief in his voice was palpable. "Thank you, Olivia. I'm not finished," she interrupted. "I have conditions. 1, you make Jake's scholarship permanent regardless of what happens tomorrow. 2, the charity donation happens no matter what. And 3, I choose every aspect of my performance. No one tells me what to play or how to play it." "Agreed to. All conditions," Elijah said without hesitation. "And Olivia, I truly am sorry for not being completely honest with you." "Save it for after tomorrow," she replied and hung up. She had a lot of work to do before the gala. The night of the gala arrived. Elijah's mansion overlooking Puget Sound was lit up like a jewel against the darkening sky. Luxury cars lined the circular driveway as Seattle's wealthiest and most influential people arrived in formal attire. Inside, the grand ballroom had been transformed. A massive crystal chandelier hung from the ceiling. Flowers and greenery decorated every surface. At the center of it all stood a gleaming black grand piano on a small raised platform. Elijah checked his watch nervously. Olivia had not arrived yet, and the event was set to begin in 30 minutes. He scanned the growing crowd, noting the group of 7 distinguished-looking men and women standing near the back wall. They appeared human, but their stillness and the way they observed everything with unusual intensity gave them away. The Arcturians had come. Their leader, using the name Alan Fraser, approached Elijah. "Is everything prepared for the musical performance?" Alan asked. His English was perfect but had a strange rhythm, as if he had learned it from books rather than conversation. "Yes, of course," Elijah replied, trying to sound confident. "Our pianist will arrive shortly." Alan nodded. "We look forward to it. Remember, this evaluation is important not just for you, but for all of Earth." As Alan walked away, Elijah texted Olivia again. "Where are you? Please tell me you're coming." No response. The gala officially began. Guests mingled, drinks flowed, and a string quartet played soft background music. Elijah made a short speech welcoming everyone and thanking them for supporting music education. All the while, he kept glancing at the entrance. Professor Bennett found him by the bar. "No sign of her?" "Nothing," Elijah said, his voice tight with worry. No calls, no texts. I'm starting to think she changed her mind. Give her time, Claire said. This is a big moment for her. An hour passed. The Arcturians were growing restless. Alan approached Elijah again. We did not come here for small talk and wine, he said coldly. We came to evaluate human artistic expression. If your pianist is not going to perform, we should conclude our business and leave. Please, just a little longer, Elijah pleaded. She'll be here. Alan checked a device on his wrist that looked like a watch but wasn't. 20 more minutes. Then we make our decision based on what we've seen so far. Elijah knew what that meant. The other artistic evaluations around the world had been mixed, some impressive, others disappointing. Without Olivia's performance, Earth's future hung in the balance. Just as he was about to give up hope, the crowd near the entrance parted. Olivia walked in, wearing a simple black dress. Her hair was pulled back, her face determined. Without acknowledging anyone, she walked straight to the piano. The room fell silent as she sat down. She took a deep breath, placed her hands on the keys, and began to play. She started with a classical piece, Bach's Prelude in C major. The familiar notes filled the room, perfectly performed but somewhat safe. Elijah felt his heart sink. This wouldn't be enough to impress the Arcturians. But then something changed. Olivia transitioned from Bach into something new, something no one had heard before. Her improvisation began softly, almost hesitantly, like someone testing their voice after years of silence. Gradually, it grew stronger, weaving themes from the Bach piece with new melodies that seemed to speak directly to each listener. Elijah watched the Arcturians. They had moved closer to the piano, their eyes fixed on Olivia's hands. Alan's face showed genuine surprise, the first real emotion Elijah had seen from him. The music swelled, becoming more complex, more emotional. Olivia played with her eyes closed, completely absorbed in the conversation with the music that Claire had described. She wasn't performing for anyone. She was expressing something deeply human that could not be put into words. Throughout the room, people were affected differently. Some had tears streaming down their faces. Others stood perfectly still, transfixed. A few swayed gently, as if the music was moving through their bodies. The Arcturians had formed a semicircle around the piano, closer than they had allowed themselves to get to any humans before. As Olivia reached the climax of her improvisation, something extraordinary happened. Alan's disguise seemed to flicker for just a moment. A soft blue light emanated from the 7 Arcturians, growing brighter with the music. The humans in the room were too entranced by the performance to notice, but Elijah saw it clearly. The aliens were responding to the music on a level beyond human perception. When Olivia played the final notes, the room fell into absolute silence. Not a cough, not a whisper, not even the sound of breathing. It was as if time itself had stopped. Then, she opened her eyes, looking directly at the Arcturians as if she could see through their disguises. She gave a small nod, stood up, and walked away from the piano. The silence held for another long moment before the room erupted in applause. People rushed toward Olivia, trying to speak to her, to congratulate her, but she moved through the crowd, toward the exit. Elijah tried to reach her, but Alan blocked his path. The Arcturian leader's face was transformed. The cold calculation was gone, replaced by something like wonder. "We have made our decision," Alan said. "Already?" Elijah asked, surprised. "Don't you need to confer with your colleagues?" "No. We experienced a collective response to the music, something unprecedented." Alan seemed to be struggling to find the right words. For a brief moment, we felt what you humans call emotion. We felt connected, to each other, to everyone in this room, to your planet. "What does that mean for Earth?" Elijah asked. "It means we have much to learn from humanity. Your species has a form of consciousness we have never encountered before, one that creates beauty from nothing." Alan placed a hand on Elijah's shoulder. "Earth will be classified as a partner civilization, not a resource. We will prepare a formal alliance proposal." Relief washed over Elijah. "Thank you. I should find Olivia and tell her." The pianist, Alan said thoughtfully. Yes, find her. She has given your world a great gift tonight. Elijah rushed outside to see Olivia getting into a taxi. Wait, he called, running down the steps. Olivia, wait! She paused, one foot in the cab. You did it, Elijah said, breathless. They're offering an alliance. They want to learn from us, not take from us. Olivia smiled slightly. Good. I'm glad. Where are you going? Everyone inside wants to meet you. I didn't play for them, she said simply. I played for myself, and now I'm going home. Will you play again? Professionally, I mean? Olivia thought for a moment. Yes, but on my terms. No competitions, no playing to impress. Just the music and whoever wants to listen. I want to help, Elijah said. A foundation for music education, performance spaces, whatever you need. We can talk about that. But not tonight. Olivia got into the taxi. Tonight, I just want to enjoy having found my music again. As the taxi drove away, Elijah stood watching until its taillights disappeared. Inside the mansion, Earth's future was being reshaped because a waitress had played piano and silenced a room with one song.